Recording. All right. Hey, today I just want to, and by way of introducing Bill Predebon, just got some questions for you. What does it take to become a five-star affiliate? If you don't have your five-star, Bill's going to answer these questions for us. What does it take for you and I to earn $10,000? Bill's going to answer that question for us. And what does it take to build a first-class team? And what does that even mean? Bill's going to answer that for us too. Hey, Bill, how are you this morning? Bill, are you there? Do you know what? It's coming in with that chipmunk type voice again, Bill. Let's try to restart your microphone and see if we can hear you a little bit better. I don't quite know what it is that would cause that. It's kind of been an off and on thing, but I know we've resolved it in the past. I look forward to resolving it again here shortly. Do you know what? It's still coming in with kind of that distorted electronic voice, Bill. I really don't know what it is that causes that. Bill, it's still coming in like a chipmunk voice. I can see Bill is working on getting that fixed. I'm sure that he is going to be here shortly. I can't wait to hear what he's got to present to us today. It sounds very interesting. I'm going to be paying close attention and making notes.
Is it the same, Ron?
Hey, Bill, it sounds great now.
It does?
Yes, sir.
It's so odd.
Yeah, it is.
Right
well, it's good to hear from you this morning. I can't wait to hear what you've got to present.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron. Thanks as always for what you do. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what the deal is with that computer doing that. Maybe I'll just go out and buy a new computer. Thanks for everything, Ron. Thanks for the introduction. And I'm pretty excited about this training, you guys, so let's kick it off. As you know, everybody on the phone, thanks for being here. Good morning. My name is Bill Predebon out of Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, Elevate team. Renata's here in Scottsdale, and I just am beyond grateful to be a part of this call every single day. I listen to this call every single day. I participate and take notes and get the opportunity to listen to Michael and Christian. And on Tuesday, I get to train, and it's just a blessing. So thanks for taking the time out of your day to be with me. And I'm going to bring some value today for sure. And as you all know, or maybe some of you don't know, anytime you guys want to chat or speak up, I'm more than happy to take any questions, whether it pertains to my training or not. I'm more than happy to try to address anything that you guys are experiencing and want any type of advice on or discussion on. So feel free to interject. So I made this training up yesterday, if you will. And I'll be honest with you, I did it selfishly, because, you know, I have a team of about 30 folks or so, and I spend a lot of time with my team. I love my team. I love the people that I've been able to affiliate with myself with and be a part of this opportunity. And so, you know, I'll tell you, nothing pains me more, to be honest, than them not having the and I don't like the word success necessarily. I mean, I love the word success, but them not having the results perhaps that they're expecting or that I'm expecting them to have as fast as they should have it or want to have it or I want them to have it. And so, you know, I take a lot of that responsibility and I take a lot of that internally, and I try to improve with these guys. So I reach out to my team all the time, and trying to encourage them, and then remind them that they can call me and stuff like that, because a lot of people, you don't want to burden everybody else all the time either, so I let them know it's not a problem, and that's what I'm here for and stuff. So anyway, I developed this training for all of us, and to be honest, again, more specifically for myself, you guys, these trainings are, in my opinion, for me, they're things that I need to work on. So I call this, and the reason I call it originally, or in the beginning, it's called Steps to 5-Star, and then I wrote down, if you're a 5-star like myself, then it's Steps to 10K and building, and steps to building your team. And so I think if you are in a position that you could take notes, I recommend you take some notes. I think these are simple steps, you guys. So here's the cool thing. This is a pretty easy business. I'm sorry, a pretty simple business. It's not an easy business. But these steps are simple. For many of you, the beginning of this is going to be a little redundant. You're going to know about it, but I promise you, there's not a lot of twists and turns to what Bob has created. That's part of his genius. It's a simple process. So if we follow these simple steps over and over and over again, you'll get the results that you want. I know this firsthand. And so I think that this is something that all of us, in fact, I know it's something that all of us can use in a daily basis. No matter what your life situation is, no matter how busy you are, you can implement this. So we're going to start out with, and this one's difficult for a lot of people. It's a simple step, and it's make your list, right? So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on lead development. Okay, the focus is the steps, but throughout this training, you guys, I want you to remember the fact that this is all about personal accountability. It's about literally being responsible for your own business. Fortunately, we have a system where you have all access to as much training as you possibly can fathom when it comes to learning how to do this business. You could stick yourself in some foreign state, in some foreign city where you know nobody, and follow the steps and get on webinars and go to the back office and learn this 10 steps of training and implement it, and you can have a successful business if you did this. However, you don't have to always do that. You have the ability of relying on the people that enrolled you in the system, enrolled you in the education. You have a 5-star affiliate, a 1-star affiliate. You have a PAC member, a PIT member, folks that can help you. And then, of course, you have Bob Snyder and all his training, and on and on and on. So, however, their job is not to, their responsibility is not to make you successful. It's not to get you your results. It's to help you along the way. It's to guide you, because they've been down the path you want to go. They've earned the 5 stars that you want. They've earned the 10 grand that you want, and they're making the money that you want to make. Right? And same goes for me, right? So I look up to my PAC member and the PIT and PAC members across the country, and I follow in their footsteps. They're there to guide us and share with us what they've done, what they've experienced, and what they know works and doesn't work, but they're not here to do the work for us. So all the way through this training, folks, let's keep in mind that the biggest hurdle we need to overcome is taking accountability, responsibility for our own business. So the first keys are going to be these lead generation. If you're on this call, you obviously have an interest in building a business, getting 5-star, making 10 grand, and of course, building a team from there, right? And the team is what's going to, project you. That's the wrong word. Move you to the point where you have residual income and you have $30,000, $40,000 months because you have a team creating sales while you're doing your own direct sales. So if you're on this call for that reason, and you're not talking to, and these numbers are low, if you're not talking to 5 or more like 10 people a week, and inviting those folks to an event every single week, and also talking to 5 or 10 people a week in a follow-up, then you're missing step 1. You are not generating enough leads. And I'm preaching to the choir. You guys know this, right? But let's talk about it just a little bit. For people that are making $40,000, $50,000 a month, $20,000 a month on a consistent basis. When you see Martin Borg at the top of the list every single Monday night, he's talking to a lot of people. He's generating a lot of leads, right? And he's making really good money. You know, it's a consistent effort. So if you find yourself in that position and you're not on the phone, then as Michael mentioned yesterday, getting on these calls, going to the events, going to Thursday nights, going to the Super Saturdays, and most importantly, even going to the intensives, you know, those are not money-making activities. Obviously, if you have guests there, it's going to help you make money. You have guests going through the system, but it's not a money-making activity. It's not a money generator. Money generators are literally bringing in leads, right? It's not putting out the sign and putting up the Craigslist. Those are the steps to get money, but it's talking to people. It is converting them. It is moving them through the system. It is asking them questions, and it is literally sharing what you believe with them so that they can help make a decision. So if you haven't made your list, it's imperative that you make your list. And whatever that list is, I don't care if it's 50 people, whatever your 5-star and you agree to, you know, I would rely on your 5-star. If you're not relying on your 5-star or your affiliate, someone that you count on, someone in your team, you know, then I implore you to find somebody that you're willing to ask, to reach out, you know, and ask them what kind of list they want. And so this list doesn't do you any good if it just sits there. Now, it's probably one of the harder things to do. And I had a person on my team yesterday who asked me a really great question. And he said, you know, with your list, if you've burned that list before and you've been down this road and things like that, you know, how do you go back at them, or how do you overcome that? And it was a fantastic question, because we all have it, and we're all afraid of our list. We don't want to sell our family, whatever the case is, whatever feelings of, anxiety you might have when it comes to calling your list. Here's what I said to that, right? And we've all had it, is that the more that you experience, you know, even if you did it in the beginning and you were ignorance on fire and you called them up and you're like, hey, let's go out and come to this meeting or whatever, and or you drew up some nice text, or you call them on a nice 3-way call or whatever it is, and they just blew you off and they don't want to hear about you and Renatus anymore. The interesting thing is that as you move forward in your Renatus business, whether you've made $10,000 or not, you've had successes. You've experienced things you've never experienced before. You've met people you've never met before. Powerful, successful people in this business and in real estate. You have learned things that you've never learned before. You've learned about velocity banking, about wealth creation through real estate, about tax and legal. You've learned how to build a team. You've learned business systems. And these are things you can go and say with confidence. And so you can approach your list again with a new feeling of confidence and conviction. And even the more that you have been to these events and the more that you have spent time working on your business and working in your real estate with your education, I mean, God, you've become a different person from the first time you talked to your list. So you can construct a nicer, cooler, more intriguing way of inviting them to another event, right? And until they tell you, Bill, don't ever bring up Renatus to me again, then you can ask them as many times as you want and in as many different ways as you want. You're not going to do it every week, but you might do it every month when some new event comes up. And you can approach them with a new text, with a new intriguing question, or a new intriguing comment about, you know, what you just learned or what you just experienced or your first success of 10,000 or whatever the case is. And you know, when we first start to approach our list, because it's the fastest way to money, right? We've heard this 1,000 times. It's the fastest way to 5-star, warm market, right? And so we ignorantly approach them. We inexperiencedly approach our warm market, and we might screw it up, or we might not say it right, or they might not believe us, or we've asked them to join other companies before. So this is just one more crying wolf company, and they don't come, they don't join, and they don't get there. But now we have a new experience with Renatus. We have a deeper belief. It's not in our head anymore. It's in our heart. And now we can share that with them even more, right? So figure out how you want to share your list with your 5-star. Speak with them. Michael has a training that he does several times on how you can go ahead and work with him and have a script when you're calling your 5-star and using that script. So that's a great way to do it, right? Or you can talk to your own personal 5-star and ask them what they think and how they want to approach your list. But either way, make a list. I'll tell you, in the very beginning, you guys, when I got 5-star, I was 5-star in 45 days when I started marketing in 2008. And then I made another $20,000 in less than 60 days later. So I had 4 sales. I wrote down a list of 15 people. I did not put up a street sign. I did not put up a Craigslist ad. I simply talked to warm market. My affiliate was not interested in helping me market. It wasn't that he wasn't interested. He had a life, new babies, and he had an interesting wife who was more interested in the money. And it was just one of those things. And he was a young kid, and I didn't even know that it was, not that it was his job, but even to come on a 3-way with me or to meet up on a one-on-one or anything. I just did it myself, right? I was told on a training by one of the leaders across the country that I could simply do a comp plan on a napkin, and that's what I did. And so back then it was called a comp plan. Now it's called an earnings plan. But that's what I did, is I just did it on my own. I met with a girl in a restaurant prior to even bringing her to the meeting. And then she brought her husband to the meeting, and they enrolled. And then I called the guy who taught me how to do loans, right? So I had about 13 people come to the meeting in the matter of like 4 weeks, or the first time it was a matter of a month, yep, and then another 4 weeks, and 4 out of those 13 people enrolled in the education, in the combo. And so warm market is definitely, in my opinion, the fastest way to money, the fastest way to 5-star. As you know, if you just make this list and you don't call on this list, you're not making any money. So it's imperative that you speak with your 5-star and figure out how you're going to approach it. And again, it goes back to taking responsibility. You don't need somebody to call your list for you, right? You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I know you've heard that 1,000 times, but it's true. The right person doesn't understand the wrong thing that you're saying. All they understand is what's in it for them. The WIFM principle, I can't even say it. What's in it, WIIFM, right? What's in it for them? And it is what's in it for me, I guess, with the M. But it's about what they see and what potentially they can do with the systems that you're sharing with them. Once they get in front of the information, they have forgotten about you. They don't care whether or not you're successful, or in their eyes, what their measurement of success is. They don't care if you've done a deal anymore. That might be their first objection when they talk to you. Well, have you done anything with it? Have you made any money? Call me when you've made money, right? And we all get that. And I'm not discrediting that. I'm not discounting that at all. I get it. It is a true, valid point and a valid feeling. However, when they're in front of the information, do you really care? Do you really think that they care whether you've made money? They care whether or not they're going to make money with it, whether they see themselves doing it. So when you're speaking with someone about the opportunity to save money on interest or set up an entity and protect themselves from lawsuits and things like that, and then start to create wealth through real estate, and you bring enough intrigue, or you solve a problem that they may have, or you create a scenario where they might see themselves moving in that direction, and then they come to the event, it no longer becomes about you, right? If you're not finding yourself having this success, right? Just like me, the ones that we want, the amount of success that we want, the money that we want to make, then we're not talking to enough people. So that includes, we need to go out and post the ad again. We need to go out and post a few more street signs. We need to go to a meeting, right? I had one of my students say, the frustrated a little bit with the results of some of the leads that he's getting. He's getting a lot of leads, right? But it's a one fishing pole lead generation. It's one simple way that he markets, and it's effective. But it's efficient, but is not as effective because it's a large cold market lead generation. So, we can look at opportunities to go out and network and go out and create a little bit of a warm market. So again, I'm not going to spend as much time anymore on this lead generation. You guys know lead generation, but the point is, if you have a list or you haven't made your list, then in order for you to get to 5-star, it's important and it's crucial that you make this list and then you act on this list and you take responsibility for this list. You figure out ways to approach your warm market and call them and throw caution to the wind. Who cares what they think? I mean, honestly, and if you do have those feelings and you really don't want to blow it, I totally get that. Then consult someone who cares about you and your team and you being successful and making money and perhaps earning them some money, and come up with a game plan together. Now, you guys, we're going to assume that you're getting people to because every one of you is a rock star on this call. I guarantee it. And a lot of you are brand new even, but the majority of you guys you're making money, you're 5-star qualified, you're building a team. And so you have had people to the meeting. You're getting regular, consistent basis people coming to the meeting. And even if you're not, you are. It's gonna happen for you, right? So as we move forward to step 2, right, and we start talking about people coming to the meeting, this is fantastic. But maybe we're not getting the results. Maybe we are not able to convert them from a meeting. And forgive me, I know we don't use the word meeting when we talk to our prospects, so forget that word. But for between us, behind the scenes, off the record, it's called a meeting. And when we're doing this meeting, and we've got folks showing up, and then all of a sudden we're not getting one-on-ones, we're not getting follow-ups, we're getting ghosted, they're not taking our calls, they're not interested, whatever the case is, I get it, right? So with that, it's important, however you like to do it. I'm old school and I use paper. If you look at my stuff, you would laugh your butt off because I have 50 lists and they all have the same names on them, and I forget to throw them away because I don't want to throw away one name that I'm going to forget about. And I continue to transfer my lists and I make little notes. And generally speaking, those notes are not about they went to Houghton High School or they came across the street or anything like that. It's the major things, whether or not they have the money, right? What event they might have attended, and the time and date that I call them, right? And then where they came from. And so as you rewrite the list over and over, or you revisit your list, it's going to get embedded in your brain. You're going to remember it automatically. I remember people all the time, and I can scroll through my phone when I've got some dead time in my car between properties, or when I'm sitting at my desk or whatever the case is, and I'm like, I got to make a call. I got to get someone to the meeting. And I can flip through really quickly, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I'll remember that person, and I'll know something about him, and I'll shoot him an intriguing text question, right? And then I'll shoot him and follow up with an invite. I'll remind him of something that's coming up. So the reason we have this list, the reason we keep track, is because we're going to put them on a drip. There are going to be people that you're going to cross off your list, right? There are going to be people that you're going to eliminate because they just aren't responding, or they literally just aren't able. Remember the raw student, ready, willing, and able. If they're not able, and able means able to fund, if they're sitting there and telling you that they have nobody they know that could be an angel investor for them, there's no way they could ask this person or that person, and I just don't have credit, and they're telling you they're gonna do a deal or that they are going to earn the money to buy a combo, it's not gonna happen. Right? Because if it happened, we would use it as one of our ways of funding the education, but we don't use it. We don't have number 13 that says you should go and get a second job and earn 20 grand and put it in the savings and call me when you make the 20 grand and then you can buy the education. That's not one of the ways we fund the education, right? So if they're telling you, and the other way we don't have an education process is a funding process, is number 14 is not, you give me somebody's name and I will call them and make them your angel investor, or I will find an angel investor for you. That's not a way that we fund the education. An angel investor is someone they know that they're going to approach, and they're going to create a value proposition and not ask them to borrow money like they've done in the past and never paid it back, but to create a value proposition for that person. You can help them with it as your 5-star, or have your 5-star help you with it, right? And this is for your, if you've got folks that you're working with and you're not 5-star, naturally you're going to bounce all this stuff off your 5-star because they have a they have 10,000 reasons they should be helping you with this. But in the meantime, it's going to pass on. That's why we go through this training process, is because when your 5-star has helped you become 5-star, then you have learned this system, and now you're going to pass this on to your own direct sales and your team's direct sales. So when we've got someone, whether it's you or anybody, that's looking to fund, and they're literally telling you they don't have the ability to think of anything else, think of anybody that can help them fund. And you've gone through the 5 or 6 major sources of personal resources. It's someone you're not going to cross off your list, but it's somebody you're going to put off to the side of your list. It's somebody you're going to drip on until their life changes. When their life changes, if you don't text them or call them at the right time, then you'll miss out. Because there will come a time in their life when, in a short period of time, I'm not talking 5 or 10 years, I'm talking 6 months, 3 months, 9 months, 12 months, they will change, maybe 2 years, and they will get to a position where they're capable and able to fund. And when you pop back in their phone, because you had them on a drip list, you can capitalize on the timing of their situation. But in the meantime, we don't raise the dead. We give birth to new students. We give birth to new direct sales. We work on new folks. We go back to step 1 and we generate more leads. All right. Step 2 in this tracking system, right, is accountability. This is going to help you be accountable. But on any given day, during your busy work day, you're going to be able to fit in 30 minutes to an hour of phone calls, right? And in theory, if you want to be successful, or if you want the results that you want, and you want to make an extra 10,000 a month, and you want to make 50 grand this year or 100 grand next year, or whatever it is, in my experience, it's a couple hours, it's a good 4 to 6 hours a week minimum of actual phone calls, right? So that means you need to have a few leads. So with that, if your day is so busy, then we start with a half an hour. We start with 5 calls, right? 10 minutes a call, 5 minutes a call, whatever the case is. And we fit it in, right? If it's you're picking up your kids and they get home from school and you've got to drive, or they're in the car, you're picking them up at school and you've got to drive them somewhere to their next event. Maybe you go a little bit, a half hour early, and you sit there and you wait for them. Or maybe they get in the car and then you have them do their homework and you go ahead and you make a few phone calls. Whatever it takes. Eventually, this will become a priority. This will become more important to you, and the 24 hours in the day that you have won't be able to fit your normal schedule. So pretty soon, some things like Michael's Xbox and Michael's gaming had to go, right? And in order for him to not be intrigued by that addiction, he went ahead and eliminated it with a shotgun. So you will need to maybe not shoot your TV, or maybe not change your sports addiction, or change your shopping habits, or whatever it is. So you're going to have to squeeze out some of that time. This will take priority. It's not removing something from your life. It's simply adding something into your life. And eventually, if you add enough food in your diet, you won't be able to eat all of the other foods if you start with the healthier foods first. It's the same thing here. When you start with your day and you schedule this in, no matter what, and it's uninterrupted time, it's non-negotiable time where you have to do this, then at some point you push everything else beside you, and something has to give in the future. It's not going to be your kids' events. It's not going to be making dinner, and it's not going to be getting up and going to work and driving in your commute. Those things are going to have to happen. So the other pleasures in your life are going to be what's called a sweet sacrifice that we learned at Nationals. It's that sacrifice that makes a difference, that matters, that beautiful sacrifice that you're going to make for these calls, right? And it comes down to your personal accountability in tracking your list and fitting the calls into your day, right? Now, as you have these folks coming to the meetings, and you have folks moving through the system, and you have a team that has folks moving through a system, it's important that you, as I said, have this list so you can track them, so you can remind yourself to send a text, right? Now, the one-on-one is crucial. You always hear that the one-on-one follow-up is the follow-up, the fortune's in the follow-up, right? And so when you have the meeting, we know that we're going to get through the pleasantries afterwards, right? What did you like the best? And a lot of times you can go ahead and you can even imply what they like. Did you love the velocity banking? That was amazing. Was it the velocity banking, or do you like the idea of creating wealth through real estate? Do you like the community, or do you like all of it? What do you think? And they're going to tell you, right? And so that's awesome. We just need to get you more familiar with the velocity banking. We need to get you enrolled in that class. So let's do this. Let's get on the phone tomorrow. Let's set up a time for us to meet one-on-one. And that's the next event, right? Is that one-on-one follow-up. These one-on-ones are very, very important. You heard yesterday that Michael used to drive an hour. I should say used to. Michael sometimes will drive an hour to someone else's house if that's the only way to get it done. He will invite people over to his house. I closed someone, many people in fact, but not too long ago, that come over to my house to sit in my office and do a follow-up. I specifically always schedule the follow-ups more importantly than anything, right? And if they can't get the follow-up done on a Friday, between the Thursday night and the Saturday, Super Saturday or Saturday tour or whatever's going on Saturday, then we're going to at least get on a call on Friday, right? We're going to get on a call and a 3-way call with someone. Now, here's the thing. If you are not 5-star qualified, or even if you are and you're trying to make your first 10 grand and you're working on things, your affiliate doesn't know your whole list. And if they do, they don't remember it all. And again, it goes back to you being responsible for your own business. Naturally, you're going to want to get with your 5-star and figure out how that your affiliate wants to help you in any way that you want from them in order to get with these one-on-ones and get the timing to schedule to be together and do a one-on-one together with your 5-star or the call with them. But ultimately, it's up to you. Ultimately, it's important that you are constantly reminding your 5-star of where you're at with communication with these folks that you're working with. These are your leads. This is your business. And part of your business is your training. And part of your training to get to 5-star is to develop the skills that you're going to need to carry on when you start to make $10,000 checks and start to build a team. So your only step is not just get someone to an event, right? Your step is to develop your business skills in the marketing training. And so, utilize your 5-star as much as possible, but take advantage of owning your own business and taking responsibility for your own business by setting up these one-on-ones and getting on the phone with them and shooting your 5-star text about who you're working with, what their names are, where they're at, where you're at in the process. And that, if it's been a while and someone's ghosted you for a couple of weeks, we're going to forget about it. We're not going to know necessarily what's going on, where you're at with that person. We've got our own direct sales and we've got our own teams to deal with. And so sometimes we're going to forget. But, those people mean something to us just like they do to you. So we'll be able to reach back out to them and help you reach back out to them or set up that one-on-one event. That one-on-one that comes after the meeting is the time where you really can sit down and you can cut to the chase. And you'll learn this. You'll learn that you can immediately ask for that sale in the beginning. Are you ready to get enrolled now? Well, I've got some questions and we've got some things that we want to talk, really like what we see. And then they start to explain, but they're going to tell you their objections by asking them for the sale, right? And that's just the first one out of the way. You've heard all the guys, Michael and John and Christian, train on asking for the sale 4 or 5 or 6 times, right? And reminding them of placing the order. And so, if you're not having, and here's a good point that I forgot to make earlier. This business is simple and it's not an easy business. So the one-on-one is, again, not an easy step. It's not, let's go sit down and I'm going to ask somebody for 20 grand and it's going to be jolly. We're going to have a drink and all that stuff, right? It's a nerve-wracking experience until you start to do it. But it's simple. And it's simple because it's natural for them to see an hour-and-a-half presentation on a $20,000 purchase and have a lot of questions because we have a lot of material. So it's simple to expect that they're going to have objections and that they're going to have questions. So it's simple to know that you need to sit down with someone. What's imperative is that these are not done over the phone. Now, what I mean by that is they're not done through text. This is a people business. If you're texting questions and answering questions through text, it's going to get lost in translation. There is no tonality, and it's a lazy person's way of doing it. Now, don't get me wrong for some of you younger folks. I'm not saying you can't text. Hey, have a great day. Nice seeing you last night. Here's the address to the meeting. All of the simple text that you guys do. In fact, you guys have a language I don't even understand when it comes to texting, and so I'm probably talking out of my element. But to be honest with you, I will tell you, this is a people's business. This is a face-to-face business. This is a business that people need to be transparent, people want to be inspired, and people want to have a feeling of belonging. And so you get that through eye contact. You get that through sharing stories. And you get that through a one-on-one, face-to-face meeting. And you can do some of these things over the phone with an affiliate, but that, or by yourself, of course. But the objective is not to simply, right, unless it's your main call is placing the order. But in the first follow-up and the second follow-up even, those phone calls are good, but you want to move them to a face-to-face close. You want to move them to an opportunity where, hey, okay, great follow-up call today. Got your questions answered. You're going to make a decision tomorrow or whatever it is. I'll see you at the property tour, and then after, plan on coming over. We'll grab something to eat, or we'll sit down and grab a cup of coffee after, and we'll place the order, right? And you assume that order. But it is done face-to-face. It is where people will relate to you, where they will connect with you and your 5-star, or if you're working with your team and they're getting 5-star, they're going to be rolled up to you anyway. And it's important that you are building that relationship from the beginning, and that you're not answering their question. They're going to be at work. They can't get on the phone. They don't have time to go to a meeting. They can't go to another follow-up on Friday. Then they got Friday night date night, and they got their kids, and they're all these events. So the one-on-one's not going to happen until next Saturday because they got plans this weekend, and they really like what they saw Thursday night. All of these excuses are going to come up. And so what happens is we have that urgency, right? So we start to text them on Friday, and we're like, what's going on? How's it going? What did you like about last night? And they're like, yeah, I really like the velocity banking. Okay, great. And you're having a conversation over text. And then they ask a question. Well, I don't understand what 20 grand is. Oh, we've got 58 classes. You guys, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. Text there's no feeling. There's no connection. And it's easy for someone on the other line to dismiss it. And they're looking for a reason not to enroll. They're looking for a reason not to spend 20 grand. And a text message is going to give them that reason, right? Even possibly a phone call. So these one-on-ones, you guys, Phoenix is a big, big town. And if you live on the west side and you meet somebody on the east side, it could be a 2-hour drive. And I'm not even kidding. So we constantly still drive to one-on-ones. I specifically skip meeting contractors at properties now because I'm shifting my priority to marketing from my properties. And I'm still working on right now 5 fix and flips. And I just bought another one, and I just put an offer on a $1.2 million one that I want to flip. But my point is, in order for me to be successful at this business and do what needs to be done, and enroll students and change their lives, change my life, change my team's life, I have to do one-on-ones. I have to do them when it's convenient for them, right? But still have control of it being convenient for me. I'm not going to get up at 6 a.m. and go drive 2 hours to get to a one-on-one, but I am going to make a sacrifice at some point as to how far I'll go and when we're going to make it happen, right? As will they. If it's important to them and they want to get the information, they too will make a small sacrifice. They might not want to drive 2 hours to your house as well. However, they will meet you in between, or you can figure it out a little bit closer to your property or your house or your business of work, right? But either way, we've got to get in front of these folks. If you're not putting 1 to a minimum of 1, but 2 follow-ups a week in front of your 5-star, then you're not doing the business. You're not working hard enough. You're not following the simple steps. You're allowing your belief system, right? Whatever it is about Renatus and the ability that you have, what you're capable of in Renatus to overcome the work. You're allowing, think about it. If we know for a fact that these 4 simple steps, right? See the people, tell the story, bill for events, and follow up. If these 4 simple steps can generate a $10,000 paycheck, and we truly believe that, we would do it. We would do it all the time. We would do it every day. We would do it multiple times a day. And then we would get to a follow-up every single day because we know that the fortune's in the follow-up. However, when we look at our result, our production over the last week, over the last month, over the last year, how many follow-ups have we gotten to, right? How many follow-ups in a row? How many second, third, and fourth follow-ups that we've had to do with those people that we did a first follow-up who didn't convert because it's a 3, 4, or 5 touch business, right? If we are not doing these simple steps, rebuilding for another event, re-following up, taking accountability for our own business, working to continue to pick our list, cross off the names that aren't able, put them on a back burner drip list for 6 months from now, working on the folks that have potential, and then giving birth to new leads through step number 1, then we won't get the results that we're wanting. We will allow whatever belief system, whatever excuse, whatever reason we choose to overcome following these 4 simple steps. And that's okay. Thank you, Keely. That's okay. Eventually, the more you come to the events, the more you talk to your affiliates, the more you see other people having success, your light bulb will go off and you will begin to improve on how often you perform these steps. This is not an easy business, but it is a very, very simple business. And Bob and his genius created it that way. And the pack members and the pit members that lead you, they follow those steps and they teach those steps. And it's redundant. There's a reason it's redundant. There's a reason it's repetitive. Eventually, you will do this, and you will do it more and more, and you will begin to have the results that you want. It's a proven system. There's no getting around that. If it's done, it will happen. I've got 7:54. I'm more than happy to take any questions or comments. I see some you, Tyler Mead, Peter. Thank you guys. You're very welcome. I greatly appreciate your appreciation. Are the follow-ups strictly one-on-one? Do you ever make an exception to have 2 separate customers sit in the follow-up together? Hera, I am in full agreement with you. If that's a possibility, that's definitely efficient. If it's a warm market, in my opinion, I would maybe go one-on-one warm market separately, like someone you know and trust you and things like that, make it a little bit more personal and intimate. But if you have a couple cold markets or 3-foot rules, people that you just met in a networking event or from the office or, you know, from a cold lead, then I would definitely do a multiple one-on-one. The only problem with that, it's intimate when you start talking. Now think about this, folks. When you start talking about your follow-up, it depends on where you're going to go. Because in the follow-up, if you're going to specifically ask somebody about their financial situation in front of a stranger, it's going to get weird. And they're not going to be able to answer honestly. They're not going to want to. Oh, how's your credit? Well, it sucks. and I have a 500 score and I went bankrupt last week. Well, they're not going to want to say that in front of a stranger. And they're not going to want to talk about, oh yeah, I've got $1 million in my savings account, and let this person they don't know about that. So your follow-ups are going to be good. That's why we do a generic follow-up, like the follow-up on Friday night and stuff, where everybody comes and we do a generality. But from that follow-up, you need to book the personal follow-up so that you can ask for the order. And in order to ask for the order, you have to know what their financial situation is. And of course, I always ask, and I even ask it on Thursday night, what are you thinking about for fun in the education? Have you thought about where you're going to get the money? And when I get to a follow-up, immediately I'm like, are you guys ready to enroll now? Or do you have some questions first? Sometimes I don't even say, or I don't even give them that option. I just let them object right away or I let them say yes. Most of the time, no one's just saying, oh yeah, I'm ready right now. But they're close. And then when they say, no, we have a few questions or there's a lot of information, what I say is, I literally say this on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're ready to enroll, where are you? Oh, we're like a 7 or an 8 or a 9. Okay, cool. Then we're going to get you to a 10 today by answering your questions and overcoming any objections you might have and figuring out where the money comes from. Does that sound good? Yes, great. So that's my beginning of my follow-up. And then if I've got 3 or 4 different individuals, I can get through all that together with everybody. But then when it comes to personally asking them for the sale and how they're going to fund it and what their situation is, it's going to be hard to do it personally. So I see that you get it. Thanks, Harry. You're welcome. Cool. So any other questions, you guys, that you have for me before we wrap it up? I hope you guys took some notes, because I promise you can pass this on to your team. You can start to implement this today. This is literally, this paper right here is the way. In fact, I'm going to more implement it myself today and tomorrow and every day. I'm at just over 50 grand, I think, for the year. As you know, I think the pet is 75,000. So I have $25,000 left to go just to make the pit, which I want to exceed by at least $25,000. So I have to double my first 6 months effort, 7 months effort in the next 5 months. But I fortunately have a very big team and a very big pipeline, and we're looking real strong for that to happen. So thank you, Udak. I appreciate that. You guys, I love you. Mark, thank you very much. You're awesome. You guys, everybody have an amazing day. Thanks for being on my call. It's just a privilege and an honor, and I'm just grateful to be able to train with you guys and talk to you guys. And so awesome. Have a great day. Make it great. And I'll go ahead and end the meeting, and I'll type in, you guys, if you're taking notes, I forget, 760-533-3141 is my number. That's my personal cell phone number if you need to reach out for me. And have a great day. 760-533-3141. Everybody have a great day. Make it great. Good luck. See you guys at regionals. Take care.